Hey guys, welcome to this War Counters video. We're going to look at the Web Warriors today. Are they better on offense or defense? Is it going to be dependent on your roster? We'll show you some teams they could beat, some teams that they will lose against when on defense. We'll talk T4s, we'll talk all that. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. I'm going to hide real quick, just so that we can talk T4s, ISO 8, and stuff like that. So, a couple of options for us to use them against. We got Wave 1, Inhuman, Coulson, Symbiotes, Dr. Doom, Skilletary, and Thanos. Skilletary is probably the most iffy. Probably just avoid that one, actually. Then we got Web Warriors. So, Gwen, everything but the basic is necessary. We want her as a Raider. Spider-Man, we want the special and the passive, also a Raider. Miles, special, passive, Striker. Very important for this war to work. I don't have him as a Striker, so I can get through these attacks. But you'll see various situations where the Striker would have been way better. Then we got Scarlet Spider. We want the special, and we want the passive as well. That pass is very important for that extra life for Web Warriors. I'm going to have him as a Raider. His damage is good. I'd probably prefer him as a Skirmisher in War, but I'm not going to use Blue Ions on that. And then we have our fifths from Hela, Squirrel Girl, Shuri, Zemo, Punk, and Doc. I like Doc Ock the best. He's going to give us the most value with other Web Warriors to take out Black Order, Inhuman, Coulson. Zemo will help us take out certain Doom teams, help us take out Skilletary. And then Hela is probably the best fifth to take out just these old meta D teams on big punch-ups. So if you want to take out like a giant Wave 1, don't use her on Symbiotes, obviously. And Marauders with no Sabretooth, Sinister Six, she's probably the best there. And Shuri would probably be the best all around, just to deal with their slow start. Their turn 2 is devastating, so giving them a quick defense up, or even giving them enough energy for, like, say, Spider-Punk to use his ultimate turn 1 is super useful. And then obviously we have Spider-Punk. We'll see what he brings, but he doesn't bring anything mechanically. We'll see if his damage is enough to offset that in War. And then we have Squirrel Girl, who is situationally good with that Cleanse All. She could be very useful against teams like New Warriors, who I'm not going to recommend you take these guys against. Brotherhood, teams like that. Speaking of Brotherhood, if you really want to take out a Brotherhood, throw Rhino in there as the fifth. And I will say, I don't like this team against Mercs at all. I wouldn't suggest it. I've won a bunch of matchups. I got people in my alliance doing lots of testing on that, and they're winning some matchups too. But it's a little spotty, and if you want to do Mercs, you're going to want to use Squirrel Girl. So you can test that if you'd like, but I definitely don't recommend it. Let's go ahead and jump into some footage. We'll start with our best matchup order, which is going to be Black Order. So we're going to use Doc Ock here. Obviously, that's to stop the offense downs, and also for his turn 2 flip. And this is the new 60 FPS on my new iPhone 13. I'm super excited to get that for Christmas. It looks pretty beautiful. Just too bad I can't stream like this. Streaming on BlueStacks is still a little yucky. But yes, so this is pre-recorded. This is practice mode. Keep that in mind for all the different stats. Basically, if I'm showing you a match at this part, well, this is the strongest Black Order I can find in our alliance. But like, I don't like doing more than a punch across on Black Order with this team. And speaking of which, very important right there, we use the Miles Basic to take these buffs off of Cull. If I had a crit on him and he was a Striker, then I could have used the ultimate, maybe try and get a Disrupt on the Thanos, stop him from getting defense up. So Striker could have been useful there had I got a crit. A couple of options we were talking about earlier, how Striker is going to show to be better. But anyway, because we stripped him, we then put an ability block on him. He can't taunt, opens up Thanos for the Spider-Man ultimate, and then we're going to just peel this team apart. Forget what we were talking about before I did what I'm supposed to do and talk you through these matches. So let's just stick to talking through these matches so I don't get distracted. Thanos will not get speed from his passive, from his allies getting lower, when he's stunned, which is good. You saw I just got a bunch of dodges there, which actually just fed me a bunch of speed on my Web Warriors, so that was great. And then Scarlet Spider comes in, does a bunch of damage, takes all their buffs off. Spider-Gwen will zip around the map, give a bunch of debuffs to Ebony Maw, take out the other two. We'll then rewind Ebony, and this was a clean kill. But yeah, I don't like doing more than a punch across on these guys. Oh, I was talking about practice mode, yeah. Basically, if you see me doing like a 100k punch-up, you could take off half of that because it's practice mode. Speaking of which, we're going to do a 50k punch down here. I did do like a 150k or 200k punch up against Inhuman Coulson, but it wasn't very reliable. I think it was like a 70% win rate, so I don't want to show that. I would suggest keeping it a little bit lower. let's talk strategy. We're going to stop that Black Bolt from using his special turn 1. Then we want to kill the Crystal, but we also kind of want to slow down this Coulson. His ult is going to do a lot of damage to us, and if we don't get some lucky dodges here, we could die. My Spider-Man could have absolutely died here. You'll still win the matchup, but just not as clean as it ends up. So we'll go ahead and we rewind the Coulson here. Had Miles gotten offense up there, he probably would have just flat out killed the Coulson. But don't want to rely on RNG. This whole team is relying on RNG with the dodges, though. So keep that in mind when we decide if we want them on offense or defense. I personally don't like betting my war attacks on RNG. Here comes the flip. We got a slow on Black Bolt and on Doc Ock. So we take off all their buffs. That's great. Continue on this Crystal. We get the opportunity to stun Doc Ock, though, so we're going to stop him from using his ultimate. That is the right call. And now our Doc Ock will come in, take out the Crystal, take out the Doc Ock, put some bleeds on the fill. We'll spread that bleed to the other two. A dodge on Yo-Yo is unfortunate, but that's also always going to happen. We try and see if we can let that Coulson bleed out. Not so much. He'll take a turn. He'll bleed out now, though. And we're going to not do that risk with Black Bolt. We're going to keep punching Black Bolt till he goes night-night. And there you go. And finally, Yo-Yo will take her out. So like I said, this was a 50k punch down. Just like Black Order, I would suggest keeping that to a punch across. Now, there's the select Doom teams we can beat, but we're going to need Zemo or Hela. Zemo's probably the better choice. We'll do a 20k punch up. This is a Doom team I'm actually seeing quite a bit recently. It's like a support Doom team. Normally it would be Squirrel Girl instead of Black Widow here. This person on my alliance has a big Black Widow, and Black Widow actually makes this match harder for Web Warriors because it really loads up the Red Guardian with more buffs, which, you know, Zemo can only take off a certain amount, so he didn't get the taunt there. So I had to put a vulnerable on him, strip with Miles, and then Ghost Spider lands it on Doc Ock, and now I have to race to kill, sorry, not Doc Ock, lands it on Dr. Doom, and now I have to race to kill Dr. Doom before he gets yet another turn. And we had some offense down from the Yo-Yo, or from the Invisible Woman. We're not stripping that defense up off, unfortunately, but it doesn't really matter. There he goes, and we're going to win this one. So if this was a real war and that was boosted, even more buffs on the Red Guardian, even more chance to not land the ability block on the Doom. And that's where Hela would come in, because Hela's ult, I believe, can't be blocked. And it spreads a bunch of debuffs, so we would end up just loading up the Red Guardian no matter what it took, and spread it that way. But those are 3 interesting teams we can take out with Web Warriors. But they're difficult, and I don't want to do punch acrosses because I fight Legion a lot, we fight Baby Yoda a lot, and punch acrosses are not always an option for me. So I need to find some teams that I can crush with these guys. Now, Symbiotes are such a team. I actually give the Symbiotes an advantage by only taking 4 people in here, and there's less people for them to target, so they're more likely to tunnel somebody down, activate Carnage passive. But as you see, Web Warriors, they do a bunch of dodging. We go ahead, we take the Scream out first, that is our kill priority, and then we just start peeling them apart. Now, if I were to take a 5th here, it would not be Hela. Shuri would be good. Squirrel Girl would be great here. Zemo would make it too easy. Same with Doc Ock. Obviously, you just wouldn't summon with Doc Ock. But yeah, so you could do really big punch-ups against Symbiotes. But the thing with this is, I think you want to decide between Symbiotes and Web Warriors who you want to keep on offense for that Black Order counter. Who's going to give the enemy more troubles on defense? And we'll talk about that after the next fight. So you see Scarlet's actually going to bleed out there. Symbiote Spider-Man showing why he would be a good fit with those dodges, but then you're going to completely destroy your symbiotes, so I don't suggest using Symbiote Spider-Man as a 5th. It's about 180k punch-up. Again, we're only taking 4 members in. We're going against Wave 1, and this is a matchup where Striker on Miles would be way, way, way more beneficial. And we'll do some misplays here. I like putting the Disrupt on Hulk here. I think that's good. I'd probably prefer to put the ability block on Captain America here. That would slow him down from getting to his taunt, give us more time to kill everybody. I'm just going to straight up tunnel this 7 red star Thor. Make sure we get as many rebounds as we can with that Spider-Man special. And then now you see we're stuck behind Captain America. Luckily, we've done enough damage to Captain Marvel and Thor that we just beat through it. Here's where Stryker would have been way more beneficial. We probably would have got a second tap on Captain America here to pull out those buffs. Unfortunately, we're not going to get through them before the Hawkeye puts blind in us. And this is also why I'd really like Skirmisher on Scarlet Spider for War. Just more chances to pull off more buffs. And remember, in War, Scarlet Spider is only able to land defense down on his basic. So Stryker is not super good here. So we keep getting stuck, We'll try and one-shot the Hawkeye here. Not quite enough oomph on my 7 Red Star Spider-Man there. So now we're stuck behind the taunts again. And this is where I just say screw it. Let's go ahead and kill the Captain America. We'll turn meter rewind him here instead of trying to strip him, because then we would have to hit the Hulk anyway. And we're just going to try and take out Captain America before he drops that taunt, which is obviously going to be very easy. He's got slow at the beginning of his turn. I think this takes him out here. Oh, not quite. This will take him out. There we go. So now just Hawkeye and Hulk. And you see Spider-Gwen's passive does a lot of work on this team. So, but are they good enough for your offense roster? No. Unfortunately, I'm sad. I really wanted them to be good enough, but I don't think they make the cut. If I have to choose between them and Symbiotes, I'm going to take Symbiotes because Symbiotes can beat teams with minions. I think the Symbiote counter against Black Order is a little bit more defined. Although I never lost with the Web Warriors against Black Order, I just think it's better. And Symbiotes are too easy on defense. They're very easy because they don't have as many characters that dodge. I think it's just Spider-Man and Anti-Venom when he drops below a certain amount that are going to be dodging. RNG with these Web Warriors might cause some headaches, and that's where I'm going to put them on defense. So let's talk about some options. Obviously, there's the full Web Warriors, the Spider-Punk version. That's probably what I'm going to do so I can keep my other tools and slot them in elsewhere and get value out of them. But there's also the Squirrel Girl version, which I think would be better than the Spider-Punk version. Just some cleanse, some offense down, stuff like that, which is great. Then there's the Ghost version, which is what everyone in my alliance is currently using. Another dodge character, extending debuffs, rewinding turn meter. She can be tricky, so I like her there. And probably the best version of this team is Shuri. Well, that's not true. The second best version of this team would be Shuri. Get them to their second turn where they really shine and could actually accelerate them to that second turn. You could get spread from Gwen faster. You could get that strip from Scarlet faster. So I think Shuri is really good there. And you want to go the nuclear option, you throw in Surfer there, and you're bound to catch a win from somebody doing something silly. So, what teams beat them? Well, almost every team. Almost every meta offense team beats them, from New Warriors to Uncanny, Astonishing, Black Order, X-Factor, Shadowlands, Brotherhood, and even X-Factor, X-Force, sorry. But what about the dodging? And that's where this team can shine. I did lose some Shadowlands, I did lose some Black Order, I did lose some X-Force because of dodging, but here I'm going to show a 180k punch-up against them with X-Force. This is probably, if I do see a smaller Web Warriors, I'll probably try and X-Force it, just because right here, X-23, she can't miss that second hit, and once we start pushing people a little bit lower, you see here we basic there, that calls in the assist, a lot more damage than using the ultimate, and we go ahead. Deadpool is sleeper OP in this team, activates my X-23, and then X-23 is going to do what she does best, which is just tear people apart. So, are they good on war defense? Not really. But they're better than Symbiotes for sure, and they're going to call a big team. So if somebody doesn't want to risk the crazy RNG that we've all experienced at one point or another, they might take Skilletary into this, or they might take, sorry, not Skilletary, Secret Avengers into this to make sure they get the sure win, or they might take X-Factor or some super valuable team just to make sure they get the win. And then you've won. If you're pulling a good team from them, you've won in the grand scheme of things. So Cable's ultimate can't be dodged there. Then we'll just clean this up. So, yeah, I'm going to use them on defense. I think this is roster dependent. If you're newer to the game and you don't have Symbiotes build and you don't really have your 10 or even 11 offense teams build, I think they have good value. And if you're at that point in the game, I think you're going to be fighting enemies who you have a lot of options with your Web Warriors. So we showed a couple. We talked about a couple. Again, Marauders, don't take the Sabretooth fight. Mercenaries, take it if you have to, but try and avoid it. And make sure you're using the right fifth. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, please like, subscribe. Later tonight, hopefully I'll have Tower Day 2 coming out. I didn't post it. I posted Day 3 instead. But I got a lot of people wanting Day 2, so I'm going to go ahead and get that out for you guys. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you guys stay happy, healthy, and are having fun in the beginning of this year. And I'll see you later. Bye for now.